Reasoning. The process of thinking about things in a logical way. Thought process. Deduction. Reckoning. The reasoning provided in the report failed to justify the proposed changes to the policy. His reasoning behind the decision seemed flawed and didn't convince the other members. Effective reasoning skills can help avoid misunderstandings and resolve conflicts efficiently. Penetrate. To pass through something, often with force or effort. Permeate. Percolate. Infiltrate. His arguments were strong enough to penetrate the doubts of even the toughest critics. The drill was designed to penetrate even the toughest materials without losing its sharpness. The sunlight managed to penetrate the thick forest, creating beautiful patterns on the ground. Exacerbate. To make a situation or condition worse. Provoke. Become worse. Aggravate. An increase in pollution levels will likely exacerbate environmental health problems in the city. His refusal to compromise only served to exacerbate the existing tension between departments. Ignoring the symptoms could exacerbate the patient's condition, leading to severe complications. Align. To arrange in a straight line or bring into agreement. Coordinate. Make parallel. Line up. The new software will align our team's efforts and streamline our communication processes. To complete the project, all team members must align their efforts toward the common goal. The teachers must align the curriculum with new state standards for the upcoming school year. Generalize. To make a broad statement that something is true. Oversimplify. Conclude. Surmise. Scientists avoid generalizing results until they have tested the theory in various conditions. It's easy to generalize about teenagers, but each person has their unique qualities and traits. Some people tend to generalize their experiences, assuming everyone else feels the same way. Adamant. Unyielding in attitude and refusing to be persuaded. Inflexible. Stubborn. Unshakable. Even after hearing multiple opinions, he was adamant in his decision to start the business. The team was adamant that the deadline could not be extended under any circumstances. She was adamant about not changing her decision, no matter how much they pressured her. Homogeneous. Elements that are all of the same kind, uniform. Identical. Alike. Uniform. The town's population was mostly homogeneous, with little cultural or ethnic diversity. A homogeneous mixture ensures that all components are evenly distributed throughout. The scientists observed that the sample group was surprisingly homogeneous in its responses. Identical. Being the exact same in every way. Alike. Corresponding. Similar. The twins were so identical that even their closest friends struggled to tell them apart. The two paintings looked almost identical, but one was a forgery created by a skilled artist. The fingerprints found at the scene were identical to those in the criminal database records. Contemplate. To think deeply or carefully about something. Ponder. Meditate. Envisage. The philosopher encouraged his students to contemplate the nature of existence deeply. He sat quietly, trying to contemplate the various possibilities before making a final decision. The artist would often contemplate a painting for hours before adding a single brushstroke. Empirical. Based on experience rather than theory. Practical. Experimental. Pragmatic. Empirical studies have shown a direct correlation between sleep and cognitive performance. Empirical research is crucial in the medical field for developing new and effective treatments. The researcher relied on empirical evidence to support his theory about climate change effects. Exponential. Increasing rapidly at an accelerating rate. Rampant. Expanding. Flourishing. The exponential rise in housing prices has made it challenging for many to afford homes. The company experienced exponential growth in sales after launching its new product line. Exponential growth in technology has transformed the way we communicate and work globally. Undergo. To experience or be subjected to a process or change. Endure. Encounter. Withstand. Athletes often undergo intense training sessions to prepare for the rigors of competition. Patients must undergo a thorough health assessment before the surgery can be scheduled. The enterprise decided to undergo a complete restructuring to improve its financial situation. Mitigate. To reduce the severity or impact of something. Downplay. Relieve. Alleviate. We can mitigate the impact of the storm by preparing ahead of time and evacuating early. The team implemented several strategies to mitigate the risks associated with the new policy. To mitigate financial losses, they decided to diversify their investments across multiple sectors. Acknowledge. Recognize or accept the existence or truth of something. Recognize. Concede. Grant. They failed to acknowledge the risks, leading to unforeseen complications in the project. He decided to publicly acknowledge the mistake and take full responsibility for his actions. She nodded to acknowledge her friend's presence without interrupting the ongoing dialogue. Robust. Resilient and able to withstand tough conditions. Sturdy. Durable. Vigorous. She designed a robust training program to prepare athletes for the upcoming competition. The company's robust financial health enabled it to weather the economic downturn effectively. The study provided robust evidence supporting the effectiveness of the new treatment protocol. Eradicate. To completely eliminate or destroy something. Remove. Annihilate. Get rid of. Efforts to eradicate hunger require a collective commitment from all nations and societies. The government aims to eradicate corruption through new policies and stricter regulations. To eradicate corruption, strict laws and regulations were applied throughout the organization. Generous. Willing to give more of something, especially money. Selfless. Benevolent. Bountiful. Despite his limited income, he always remained generous with his time and resources. They received a generous portion of food at the banquet, leaving them more than satisfied. The generous gesture touched everyone's heart and encouraged others to contribute as well. Provocative. A statement that is intended to make someone angry. Instigative. Annoying. Irritating. The speaker made several provocative statements that stirred up debate in the audience. The book's provocative title caught the attention of readers, stirring curiosity and controversy. His provocative behavior in meetings often leads to conflicts with his colleagues and superiors. Analogy. A comparison between two things for clarification. Likeness. Comparability. Resemblance. The instructor used an analogy to explain the complex scientific concept in simpler terms. By using an analogy, he made the scientific theory more accessible to the general audience. The teacher provided a helpful analogy to make the complex concept easier to understand. Mundane. Lacking interest, relating to everyday life. Ordinary. Commonplace. Humdrum. Even mundane activities, such as washing dishes, can be relaxing when done mindfully. The book transformed a mundane topic into something fascinating and thought-provoking. The novel's plot revolves around the protagonist's escape from a mundane existence in suburbia. Competence. Skill to do something successfully or efficiently. Proficiency. Aptitude. Expertise. His competence in leadership roles was evident in his team's success and high morale. Continuous training is essential to maintaining competence in a rapidly changing industry. To perform well in this role, you must demonstrate competence in several important areas. Speculation. The act of forming a theory without firm evidence. Conjecture. Assumption. Supposition. He dismissed the speculation as baseless without providing any evidence to the contrary. Despite speculation, the scientist refused to comment on the unverified results of the study. The media's speculation only fueled more rumors and misunderstandings about the situation. Evolution. The gradual development of something over time. Progression. Growth. Development. Evolution in nature is driven by genetic mutations and the survival of the fittest principle. Human evolution is a complex process that spans millions of years and numerous changes. The fashion industry has seen a significant evolution in trends and consumer behavior recently. Govern. To control or strongly influence something or someone. Control. Administer. Regulate. Various factors govern the growth and development of plants in natural ecosystems. The principles that govern our actions define our character and moral compass in life. The committee will govern the implementation of the new policies across departments. Framework. A basic structure underlying a system or concept. Structure. Arrangement. Scaffolding. We need to establish a clear framework for how decisions will be made going forward. The team worked within a tight framework to deliver the project on time and on budget. The legal framework sets boundaries for acceptable conduct and enforces the rule of law. Abrupt. Sudden and unexpected, often in an unpleasant way. Prompt. Immediate. Instantaneous. The conversation came to an abrupt halt when the fire alarm went off unexpectedly. His abrupt departure from the meeting left everyone wondering what had happened. The abrupt changes in weather caught the hikers unprepared and without proper gear. Inapt. Not suitable or appropriate in the circumstances. Irrelevant. Unfitting. Unsuitable. Her inapt response to the interviewer's question hurt her chances of getting the job. The choice of an inapt analogy weakened the effectiveness of the professor's lecture. His inapt comment during the meeting caused pointless confusion and awkward silence. Erroneous. Not being in agreement with what is true. Wrong. Mistaken. Invalid. The judge dismissed the case due to the erroneous claims made by the prosecution. His report was full of erroneous data, leading the company to make incorrect decisions. The news article was later retracted after it was found to contain erroneous information. Undertake. To commit to, or promise to do a particular thing. Initiate. Execute. Perform. He was hesitant to undertake a new job with so many unknown challenges ahead. Before you undertake such a big task, make sure you have all the necessary resources. The company will undertake a major renovation project next year to improve its facilities. Assemble. To gather together in one place for a common purpose. Accumulate. Congregate. Gather. It took them several hours to assemble the new furniture they bought from the store. We will assemble all the necessary tools and materials before starting the construction. The board of directors will assemble next week to review the company's financial report. Endeavor. A serious attempt or effort to achieve something. Struggle. Undertake. Attempt. Starting a business is a challenging endeavor, requiring time, effort, and dedication. He decided to endeavor on a journey of self-discovery by traveling the world alone. Despite many obstacles, their endeavor to climb the mountain was eventually successful. Definitive. Not able to be argued about, or final and settled. Ultimate. Most reliable. Decisive. The judge's ruling was definitive, leaving no room for further appeals or discussions. His latest book is considered the definitive guide on the subject of modern architecture. The company needs a definitive plan to address its financial challenges in the coming year. Dogmatic. Stubbornly adhering to beliefs or opinions. Adamant. Prejudiced. One-sided. His dogmatic approach to the issue left little room for debate or alternative opinions. The professor's dogmatic views on the subject alienated students who disagreed with him. Many people find his dogmatic insistence on following the rules frustrating and unnecessary. Specimen. A sample of something, often used for analysis. Sample. Embodiment. Example. The biologist collected a specimen of the rare plant for further analysis in the lab. The museum displayed a specimen of the oldest known dinosaur fossil ever discovered. The doctor requested a blood specimen to conduct more thorough tests on the patient. Dilemma. A difficult choice between two options. Predicament. Conundrum. Confusion. The moral dilemma he encountered made it hard for him to make the right choice. She faced a difficult dilemma, torn between following her heart and pursuing her career. The enterprise's financial dilemma forced them to lay off several employees unexpectedly. Inspection. The act of carefully examining something. Examination. Observation. Assessment. The building underwent a thorough inspection to ensure it met all safety standards. During the inspection, the officer found several violations that needed immediate attention. The factory had to shut down temporarily after an inspection revealed several health hazards. Lenient. More permissive or tolerant than expected. Forgiving. Tolerant. Easygoing. The teacher's lenient grading policy made it easier for students to pass the course. The judge was surprisingly lenient, giving the defendant a lighter sentence than expected. The coach was lenient with the players, giving them extra time to practice before the game. Adversity. A very difficult or unfavorable situation. Misfortune. Hardship. Hard times. Despite facing adversity, she remained determined to achieve her goals and succeed. Adversity often teaches valuable lessons that contribute to personal growth and strength. The team showed notable resilience in the face of adversity during the challenging season. Supervise. To oversee or manage a task or people. Look after. Inspect. Control. She was hired to supervise the construction project and ensure it stayed on schedule. It's important to supervise children when they're playing near water for safety reasons. He was assigned to supervise the team's progress and report back to upper management. Ordinary. Commonplace or normal, not special or extraordinary. Average. Standard. Common. The town looked ordinary from the outside but had a unique charm hidden within. He had an ordinary day at work, filled with routine tasks and predictable conversations. The painting seemed ordinary at first, but it held a deeper meaning upon closer inspection. Evaluate. To judge the value or quality of something. Weigh. Appraise. Measure. The committee will evaluate the proposals to determine which one meets their needs best. The teacher will evaluate the student's capacity based on their exam results and participation. It's important to evaluate all options carefully before making a significant financial investment. Skeptical. Having doubts or reservations about something. Suspicious. Distrustful. Mistrustful. Despite the convincing argument, he was still skeptical about the proposed changes. His skeptical expression revealed his doubt about the validity of the research findings. People are often skeptical of new technologies until they see tangible results and benefits. Seductive. Tempting and attractive, often in a charming way. Alluring. Tempting. Appealing. Her seductive smile could easily captivate anyone she chose to engage in conversation. The seductive fragrance of the flowers filled the room, creating an enchanting atmosphere. The marketing campaign had a seductive appeal that attracted customers from all walks of life. Stagnation. A lack of activity, growth, or development. Inactivity. Inaction. Indolence. He feared career stagnation after spending many years in the same job without promotion. The lack of innovation resulted in the stagnation of the company's growth and market share. Economic stagnation can lead to high unemployment rates and reduced consumer spending. Pertinent. Relevant or applicable to a particular matter. Applicable. Relevant. Noteworthy. Only pertinent information should be included in the final report for the board meeting. She asked questions that were pertinent to the topic being presented by the guest speaker. We need to focus on the pertinent issues affecting our community, not irrelevant distractions. Replica. An exact copy or reproduction of something. Reproduction. Duplication. Imitation. The museum displayed a replica of the ancient artifact to protect the original from damage. The company created a replica of the classic car model, catering to nostalgic collectors worldwide. A replica of the Eiffel Tower stood proudly in the center of the amusement park, impressing visitors. Promote. To support the growth or progress of something. Upgrade. Stimulate. Trigger. They decided to promote the concert through social media and other online platforms. The organization aims to promote education and literacy among underprivileged children. She was tasked to promote awareness about the importance of mental health and self-care. Empower. To give someone the authority to do something. Sanction. Authorize. Commission. Education can empower individuals to make informed decisions about their future. The public center works to empower local youth through mentorship and support programs. His words were meant to empower the audience and inspire them to take meaningful action. Disclose. To reveal something that was previously secret. Expose. Make known. Reveal. She decided to disclose her financial situation to the bank before applying for a loan. He refused to disclose the details of the confidential meeting to anyone outside the group. The journalist promised not to disclose her sources, respecting their anonymity and safety. Dubious. Probably not true or not completely true. Doubtful. Questionable. Uncertain. She was dubious about the plan's success, given the lack of preparation and resources. The deal seemed too good to be true, making investors feel dubious about its authenticity. Many found his dubious behavior suspicious during the investigation into the missing funds. Deter. To discourage or restrain from acting or proceeding. Deny access. Discourage. Put off. The harsh penalty is meant to deter people from committing similar offenses in the future. A strong defense policy can effectively deter potential aggressors from launching an attack. Efforts to deter drug trafficking have been intensified by law enforcement agencies worldwide. Regulate. To control the rate or speed of a process. Arrange. Systematize. Modulate. It is necessary to regulate the flow of traffic to prevent congestion during peak hours. They aim to regulate emissions from factories to reduce environmental pollution significantly. The central bank decided to regulate interest rates to control inflation and stabilize the economy. Reasonable. Fair and sensible, based on sound judgment. Adequate. Coherent. Rational. The proposal was rejected because it lacked a reasonable argument to support its claims. She believed her request for more time was reasonable, given the complexity of the task. The judge gave a reasonable explanation for the ruling, considering all the evidence presented. Correlation. A mutual connection between two or more things. Association. Reciprocity. Interaction. There appears to be a correlation between high stress levels and the onset of illness. The researchers discovered a positive correlation between education level and income. There is a strong correlation between regular exercise and improved mental health over time. Manifest. To show or display something clearly or plainly. Demonstrate. Delineate. Apparent. Her passion for music started to manifest through her exceptional piano performances. His anger began to manifest in small, passive-aggressive comments during the meeting. The symptoms of the illness didn't manifest until several weeks after the initial infection. Confront. Deal with a problem or difficult situation directly. Oppose. Challenge. Withstand. The documentary confronts the harsh truths of societal inequality in modern-day America. It's often necessary to confront uncomfortable truths in order to make meaningful change. We need to confront the environmental challenges facing our planet with immediate action. Instinct. An inborn tendency to behave in a certain way. Intuition. Inclination. Tendency. Parental instinct can often guide people through challenging and uncertain situations. Trusting his instinct, he made a last-minute decision that saved the project from failure. His instinct told him something was wrong, even though there was no obvious evidence. Handy. Convenient or useful for a particular purpose. Convenient. User-friendly. Functional. This multipurpose tool is incredibly handy for fixing small household problems quickly. Having a flashlight handy is essential when camping in remote areas without electricity. The new smartphone has several handy features that make everyday jobs much easier. Reluctant. Not willing to do something and thus slow to do it. Unwilling. Hesitant. Disinclined. Despite being reluctant at first, he agreed to attend the event after some persuasion. The student was reluctant to participate in class discussions, fearing judgment from peers. The employee was reluctant to accept the promotion due to the increased responsibilities. Hazardous. Something that is dangerous and likely to cause damage. Dangerous. Perilous. Insecure. The hazardous chemicals were carefully stored in a secure facility to prevent accidents. Working in a construction zone without proper safety gear can be extremely hazardous. Driving in such hazardous weather conditions could result in serious accidents on the road. Prohibit. To formally forbid something by law or rule. Forbid. Outlaw. Embargo. Strict regulations prohibit the sale of alcohol to anyone under the legal drinking age. Certain medications prohibit the consumption of alcohol due to possible negative effects. The school's dress code prohibits students from wearing clothing with offensive messages. Deceptive. Giving an appearance different from the truth. False. Misleading. Elusive. The simple-looking puzzle was deceptively difficult to solve, frustrating many players. The company used deceptive pricing tactics to make the product seem more affordable. Appearances can be deceptive. The seemingly quiet town had a history of mystery and crime. Delicate. Fragile or easily broken, requiring careful handling. Fine. Sophisticated. Elegant. Handling the antique vase requires a delicate touch to avoid damaging its fragile surface. The ecosystem in that region is delicate, making ecological conservation extremely important. Negotiations between the two countries reached a delicate stage, requiring careful diplomacy. Considerate. Thoughtful of the needs and feelings of others. Kind. Caring. Cooperative. She wrote a considerate thank you note, acknowledging every small gesture of kindness. It's important to be considerate when giving feedback so you don't hurt anyone's feelings. Being considerate toward others can help foster a positive environment in any workplace. Myth. A traditional story, belief, and cultural practices. Story. Allegory. Fable. The myth about the Loch Ness Monster continues to capture the imaginations of many. Myths often serve as cautionary tales, teaching important moral lessons through fiction. Greek mythology is filled with fascinating myths of gods, heroes, and supernatural beings. Conundrum. A confusing or difficult problem or question. Enigma. Puzzle. Mystery. The detective faced a conundrum, trying to piece together clues that made little sense. He found himself in a moral conundrum, torn between loyalty and doing the right thing. Solving this mathematical conundrum will require creative thinking and a fresh perspective. Fragile. The quality of being easily damaged or broken. Weak. Feeble. Breakable. The relationship between the two countries remains fragile, requiring careful diplomacy. Her fragile emotional state made her more sensitive to criticism during that difficult time. The child's fragile immune system made it necessary to take extra precautions against illness. Sluggish. Reacting or working more slowly than normal. Inactive. Slothful. Stagnant. His sluggish response made everyone question his interest in the ongoing discussion. The team was fortunate to win the game after a last-minute mistake by the opposition. The sluggish economy showed little sign of recovery after the recent financial downturn. Anticipate. To imagine or expect that something will happen. Predict. Forecast. Foresee. We eagerly anticipate the release of the new movie, expecting it to be a blockbuster. The weather forecast helps farmers anticipate conditions that could affect their crops. We anticipate a large crowd at the event, so preparations are being made accordingly. Lucrative. An investment or activity that is profitable. Profitable. Worthwhile. Rewarding. The lucrative deal with the sponsor greatly boosted the sports team's financial standing. Despite the risk, the business venture turned out to be incredibly lucrative for investors. The entertainment industry offers lucrative contracts to those who reach superstar status. Indispensable. Extremely important and completely necessary. Essential. Imperative. Requisite. His expertise in project management made him an indispensable member of the team. For many, smartphones have become indispensable apparatuses for managing their tasks. Her leadership skills were indispensable during the company's challenging transition period. Inhibit. To hinder the progress or action of something. Restrain. Withhold. Impede. Drinking too much alcohol can inhibit your judgment and decision-making abilities. Strict regulations inhibit innovation, slowing down progress in the technology sector. His fear of public speaking tended to inhibit his ability to perform well during presentations. Obsolete. No longer produced or used, out of date. Antiquated. Outdated. Old-fashioned. The company decided to replace its obsolete equipment with more efficient technology. The rapid advancement of technology has made many older devices completely obsolete. Traditional film cameras are now considered obsolete by most professional photographers. Consent. An agreement or permission for something to happen. Approve. Sanction. Concurrence. They received written consent from all participants before starting the research study. The agreement was signed after both parties gave their informed and explicit consent. The patient's consent is necessary before undergoing any medical procedure or treatment. Velocity. The speed of something in a particular direction. Swiftness. Movement. Quickness. To calculate the velocity of the object, divide the distance traveled by the time taken. High-velocity winds caused widespread destruction across the region during the storm. The river's velocity changed with the season, slowing in summer and accelerating during rain. Abolish. To formally put an end to a system or practice. Eradicate. Terminate. Eradicate. The organization aims to abolish discrimination in the workplace through new policies. They plan to abolish unnecessary bureaucratic procedures to improve overall efficiency. The government voted to abolish outdated laws that no longer served the public interest. Fortunate. Having good luck or favorable circumstances. Auspicious. Privileged. Fortuitous. It's fortunate that the event was rescheduled, as the weather was too severe today. We were fortunate to escape the storm before it caused significant damage to the town. She felt fortunate to have supportive friends during the challenging moments in her life. Abandon. To leave something behind or give up completely. Forsake. Renounce. Discard. She couldn't bring herself to abandon her dreams, despite all the setbacks she faced. They were forced to abandon the project after facing numerous insurmountable obstacles. The company chose to abandon the project after realizing it wasn't financially viable anymore. Adhere. To stick firmly to a surface or belief. Comply. Hold fast. Follow. It's crucial to adhere to the safety guidelines to avoid any potential accidents at work. He struggled to adhere to the deadlines, which caused delays in the project's completion. The organization requires all members to adhere to its code of conduct and ethical standards. Inclination. A natural tendency to act in a certain way. Propensity. Proneness. Leaning. The teacher noticed her student's inclination toward creative writing from an early age. She had a natural inclination toward helping others, often volunteering in her free time. There was an inclination among the group to support the new policy, despite some difficulties. Execute. To carry out or put into effect a plan or action. Carry out. Accomplish. Implement. The manager emphasized the need to execute every step of the process meticulously. He struggled to execute his plan due to unforeseen challenges that arose during the process. The company decided to execute a series of marketing campaigns to boost brand recognition. Amplify. To increase the volume or intensity of something. Magnify. Intensify. Escalate. The speakers were used to amplify the sound during the outdoor concert performance. The protesters' chants grew louder, as they sought to amplify their demands for justice. Her actions served to amplify the tension in the room, making everyone feel uncomfortable. Sociable. Friendly and willing to engage with others. Friendly. Cordial. Amicable. Being sociable helps in building strong relationships both personally and professionally. He is a sociable person who enjoys meeting new people and attending social gatherings. A sociable atmosphere at work can enhance team collaboration and overall job satisfaction. Heed. To pay attention to and consider carefully. Listen. Pay attention to. Notice. The council urged residents to heed the safety instructions during the emergency drill. Heed the advice of experienced professionals before making any significant decisions. It's important to heed the weather warnings when traveling during stormy conditions. Assurance. A guarantee in the truth or certainty of something. Promise. Guarantee. Assertion. She provided assurance that the plan had been thoroughly reviewed by the expert team. The manager gave her assurance that the project would be completed before the deadline. The company's assurance of quality convinced customers to trust their brand over competitors. Illuminate. To light up something, making it easier to understand. Enlighten. Elucidate. Brighten. Her explanation helped illuminate the confusing aspects of the new project proposal. The bright flashlight was used to illuminate the cave, revealing stunning rock formations inside. The street lights were switched on to illuminate the dark road, guiding late-night travelers home. Surplus. An amount that is more than what is needed. Additional. Oversupply. Left over. The government decided to distribute surplus food to families in need across the country. With surplus energy from the solar panels, the household could sell power back to the grid. A surplus of volunteers allowed the charity to expand its outreach efforts this holiday season. Diverse. Showing a great deal of variety, different. Distinct. Various. Manifolds. The diverse group of experts brought a wide range of perspectives to solve the problem. The city is known for its diverse population, representing cultures from all over the world. The team of experts used a diverse array of methods to investigate the complex phenomenon. Narrate. To tell a story or give an account of something. Describe. Represent. Embody. The author decided to narrate the story from the perspective of an omniscient third person. His soothing voice was chosen to narrate the documentary on the wonders of the natural world. The teacher asked each student to narrate a memorable event from their childhood experiences. Sparkling. Shining brightly with flashes of light. Shining. Glowing. Radiant. The evening sky was filled with sparkling stars, creating a breathtaking view of the cosmos. The sparkling water in the river reflected the bright sunlight, making the scene picturesque. After cleaning, the kitchen floor was spotless and sparkling under the bright overhead lights. Resolve. To find an acceptable solution to a problem or difficulty. Sort out. Settle. Alleviate. The enterprise's management team worked tirelessly to resolve the customer complaints. He promised to resolve the situation quickly to minimize any potential damage or disruption. The syndicate decided to resolve the ongoing conflict by organizing a meeting between the parties. Fluctuate. To rise and fall irregularly in number or amount. Vacillate. Oscillate. Alter. The stock market tends to fluctuate based on changes in investor sentiment and news. Due to supply chain issues, prices of essential goods continue to fluctuate unpredictably. Her weight would fluctuate depending on her diet and exercise routine throughout the year. Overwhelm. To make someone feel mentally or emotionally overloaded. Deluge. Devastate. Bewilder. After receiving so much praise, she felt overwhelmed by the attention and expectations. She began to feel overwhelmed by the amount of information she needed to remember. The constant noise and deadlines at work can overwhelm even the most organized person. Collapse. To suddenly fall down, often due to structural failure. Subside. Break down. Fall down. The exhausted runner managed to finish the race but immediately collapsed afterward. Due to structural issues, the building seemed likely to collapse during the next earthquake. The sudden collapse of the market caused widespread panic among investors and traders alike. Etiquette. The customary code of polite behavior in society. Decorum. Convention. Good manners. Proper business etiquette is crucial when dealing with international clients and partners. Many people ignore basic phone etiquette, like muting themselves during online meetings. Proper table etiquette is important, especially during formal dinners with clients or dignitaries. Optimistic. Hopeful and confident about the future. Confident. Hopeful. Sanguine. She stayed optimistic throughout the crisis, believing that things would improve eventually. Despite the challenges, she remained optimistic about achieving her long-term career goals. Investors are optimistic about the company's future prospects after the recent announcement. Approach. To come nearer to something in distance or time. Method. Viewpoint. Technique. She decided to approach the issue from a different perspective to find an explanation. They adopted a more empathetic approach when dealing with the customer's complaints. Her approach to negotiation is based on empathy and understanding the other party's needs. Eloquent. Fluent, persuasive, and effective in speech or writing. Persuasive. Expressive. Well-spoken. The politician gave an eloquent speech that inspired the entire nation to take action. She has a gift for crafting eloquent arguments that are both persuasive and compelling. He was known for his eloquent manner of speaking, easily persuading those who listened. Compulsory. You must do it because of a rule or law. Mandatory. Obligatory. Requisite. Compulsory vaccinations are required for all children before enrolling in public schools. Wearing seat belts in vehicles is compulsory by law in many countries around the world. Attending the meeting was compulsory for all department heads to discuss upcoming changes. Dearth. An amount or supply that is not large enough. Scarcity. Shortage. Deficiency. There was a dearth of volunteers for the community event, leading to its cancellation. The dearth of affordable housing in the metropolitan has become a major issue for residents. There is a dearth of affordable housing in many urban areas, leading to increased homelessness. Revitalize. To renew the energy or life of something. Refresh. Strengthen. Reinvigorate. New management revitalized the company, turning it around from near bankruptcy. Efforts to revitalize the downtown area have attracted new businesses and residents. The government plans to revitalize the city by investing in new infrastructure projects.